Brother. What's up, horror fam? Steven, aka Bojangles here. Another week, another episode of the podcast. I'm on vacation right now, but as they say, the show must go on. And once again, I'm bringing the show to you with Dr. Briggs as tonight's
What's
guest.
up, horror fam?
Oh, yeah. And tonight, we're going to be talking about the best comedic horror movies. Now, I've got a little bit of a bone to pick with old Briggsy here, though.
Excuse me, Bo.
Before we get into it, Briggs. So, I brought this idea up to Briggs, and it looks like he mistook what I was saying, misheard me. And so he has some very interesting picks, but I will say, because I've seen your list, Briggs, you've definitely got some more obscure ones on there and some weird stuff. So I will say, though, I went with the more, we'll say, mainstream route with it.
That's fair.
So
Like, you can take one side and I'll take the other.
yeah, so either way, we have a varied list. So, if you've seen all the more mainstream stuff that I'm going to, shout out, then check out some of the stuff on Briggs's and vice versa. And, basically what I'm saying, Briggs, your list sucks, man. And I'm teasing you, Briggsy. Teasing you, baby. I'm teasing you, man. Hey, but I'm going to go ahead and lay out my first pick. And I want to see what everybody else has to say about not only our picks, but what would your picks be if you were making up a list for the best comedic horror films? If we missed anything, I want you to call us out. But my first pick, Briggs, I'm going with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie.
Oh.
Yeah, which follows a high school girl, and apparently her ancestors were like kick-ass vampire slayers, and Rutger Hauer plays a vampire just wreaking havoc in her town, and Donald Sutherland shows up to train her to kick some serious vampire ass. But she's a bubbly high school teenager, so she doesn't take things probably as seriously as she should. And it can't go without saying that Pee Wee Herman is also in this movie, and he plays a vampire. So damn it. It's pure. It's hilarious and cheesy in a way. Like, what do you think, Briggs? Buffy.
It's certainly I watched the movie after I'd seen like snippets of the series. I was kind of blown away by how funny the movie is compared to how the series kind of alternates between drama and comic relief. And yeah, Pee-wee's the best character.
Yeah, Pee-wee is a badass, man. He does, ooh, ah, ooh, oh, ah, ee. When he's dying and shit, man. And, but it's interesting you say that because, for as much as I love the movie, I've actually never seen Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the TV show. Was it worth a shit, or?
I haven't seen a full episode, man. I've seen parts, and I mean, you could do worse, I guess, as far as supernatural TV shows are concerned. I was better than what I've seen of Supernatural so far.
Oh, well, hey. All right, man. I gotta give a shout out here to Juno 2000 coming in, saying that Teen Wolf with Michael J. Fox is a good one. Hey, I agree. Teen Wolf was pretty good. What do you think, Bruce? What do you think on the Teen Wolfster?
You want to bring up another TV show? I always actually liked Big Wolf on Campus.
That sounds like it could be a horror movie or a porno, Briggs. We gotta watch out, man.
It was kind of an action horror TV series.
Oh, Briggs, whoa. You're getting in trouble with the chat already, dude, because we already have somebody in here. Dragon Blue says no hating on Supernatural, dude. Definitely start stepping on some toes already. Uh-oh.
I ain't seen enough Supernatural to fairly judge it. I wasn't interested enough for the first couple episodes to really binge it.
Yeah, same here, man. All right, Briggs. Now, I've already shown you my hand. So I want to hear what's coming up first on your list, dude.
Well, since you went ahead and mentioned Buffy, I guess I'll go
Ooh.
super obscure and mention the vampire film I have on my list. It is probably the most obscure thing that I listed, but it's called A Polish Vampire in Burbank.
Oh my goodness.
It's
Now,
about a vampire who is the child of foreign immigrants who he doesn't know where he comes from, so.
mm-hmm.
And he's basically a turbo nerd. So he stays in his coffin. He sleeps in till like 3:31 a.m. looking at his poster of Farrah Fawcett that he has in his coffin.
Who
While
doesn't?
his parents go out and they have to get blood for him. And so one day they want the vampire whose name is Dupa, which is a Polish word.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they have him go out and try and find him a victim. Only the thing is, he gets very close to this girl and soon they hit it off. And he keeps saying he's going to drink her blood, but he keeps not doing it.
Uh-oh. This is some near dark level stuff, man.
It is an extremely goofy film. Like, it's got some right out, like, visual humor in it. Prostitute asks for bread, and a man pulls out a loaf.
Oh my god. Okay, Breek, so now the title is a mouthful. Let's hear it again, dude.
A Polish Vampire in Burbank, and it's from the president of Paramount Productions, who also is responsible for a film called The Curse of the Queer Wolf.
Okay, so a Polish vampire in Burbank.
Mm-hmm.
Is this any relation to a vampire in Brooklyn?
I have to think about that, dude.
Eddie Murphy gonna get on our asses after watching this, Breeze. We better back off, man.
I don't think anybody in Eddie Murphy's inner circle has heard of this film, dude. It might be for the best.
No shit. All right, man. We're coming up next on my list, Briggs. And this, I think, you might drive to my house and kick my ass for this one, Briggs, because this is, of course, it had to make it on the list. Like, everybody in here has probably seen the damn thing. But this is so funny, I have to mention it, and it is Scary Movie.
I'm not going to hold that against you, buddy.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. I mean, it has to make it on the list, and basically, it is a spoof movie of particularly like 90s slashers. Like, Scream gets its ass reamed in this movie, as does I Know What You Did Last Summer. And I'm telling you, man, when I watched Scary Movie with a house full of friends, you know, who weren't necessarily horror fans, dude, it was a blast. Like, everybody loved it. Everybody was laughing their ass off. And this does come with a warning, though. After you have watched Scary Movie, it ruins the Scream films for you. And I Know What You Did Last Summer, because the whole damn time you're watching all you can do is picture the spoofs they did, man. And Dragon Blues is calling me out, Briggs. It seems that I am in trouble now, because she says Steven's got that strong hand going on. It's with this new setup on vacation, man. I'm closer to the can. I don't know what to do with my hands. Take my strong hand, Briggs.
God, I'm watching myself talk right now. I can't wait to see the video on YouTube now.
Oh my god, yeah, this is... We might just want to, like, claim technical difficulties and turn this off.
Oh no.
Briggs, hurry up and mention the Bear Winch Project so this can derail.
Let me just tell you, when people talk about horror icons, it's an injustice that Lunk never comes up.
Oh god! Okay, man. Okay, so see, I've got Scary Movie, Briggsy, and you know, the chat is bumping tonight, so let's go ahead and see what we got here, man. Necrophilia, boo, scary, boo you, Necrophilia. What the hell's up with that, man? If you didn't like Scary Movie, you didn't like Scary Movie, brother.
One question, dude.
Yeah.
Do you like Shriek If You Know What I Did Last Friday the 13th?
You know, man, I was late to the party on that one, Breeze, but per your suggestion, I watched it, and it actually was pretty damn good. Um,
If you didn't like Scary Movie, give Shriek at least one try. It's
it,
a different kind of humor, but I like it more.
yeah, they're both good, though, man. JK's got me, though. Yeah, the Scary Movie franchise was hilarious. Billy Judd is saying Leprechaun 3 is a good one here, Briggs, and I know you can comment on that.
When it comes to Leprechaun films, and we're talking comedic horror, you can't go wrong with Part 4. Like, if you're talking about the funniest movie featuring a leprechaun, you gotta go right for the Motherlode. And that's the one that features the leprechaun growing to giant proportions and then eventually blowing up, with his middle finger still showing.
No, Breeze, before we move on to your next pick, I do want to shout out here. Juno 2000 says Scary Movie 2 is my favorite. It may actually be my favorite of the series as well. Now, I don't have any experience with the other ones past that. But Scary Movie 2 is awesome. I love it. It parodies more of the paranormal horror films. Like, it starts off with a parody of The Exorcist. You get some poltergeist love in there. It's great. And I see some people suggest some movies that are definitely going to make it on the list. So I'm eager to see what Briggs has up next for us. What you got there, Briggsy?
Up next, like, I was just gonna talk about Shriek If You Know What I Did Last Friday the 13th.
I got you.
Compared to Scary Movie, it's less of a raunchy type of humor, but it's definitely more of a gross out type of humor.
Oh, yeah.
Compared to Scream, it's less of compared to Scary Movie, it's less of a direct parody of Scream and one that kind of equally balances itself. Like, we keep getting flashbacks. The first one is I Know What You Did Last Summer. The next one is I Know What You Did Last Semester. Next one we get I Know What You Did Last Saturday, and it progresses from there until we get to the climax, which takes place on Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Also Friday the 13th if you're dyslexic like one of the kids.
Yeah, man, I do want to comment on that though, man. For those of you all who watch Scary Movie, definitely does have a lot of the old peni in it. There are like 3 penis shots in that movie. So, they're all pretty funny. It's not like any straight on male nudity, really, that's like serious or anything. It's like there's a micro penis in there, a penis tickles another dude's face, so you gotta be ready for stuff like that.
No dick shots in Shriek, but there is a character named Boner. Boner, sorry.
Oh, there, yeah. We are on Stream Breeze. We can't have any of those community guideline strikes. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, dude. This is discussing art. This is cinema.
Yeah. No fig leaves on the genitalia in our movies. Damn it. All right, man. Got something in my eye there, Briggs. Oh, god damn, I really did. So, my next pick, man, is a little more family friendly, but I love it so much as an adult still that I'm tossing it on the list, and that is the Addams Family movie, dude.
How do you think it stacks up next to the series?
You know, I like both a lot. The only bummer is that I think the movie started the whole thing where Wednesday Addams is like morose, and I just kind of don't like that because she was so fun in the series. She was just like a fun-loving kid, you know.
I don't know. I liked Morose Wednesday. I think that's one of the more innovative things the movie did.
Yeah, I mean, that is cool. Like, I do, you know, I love it how her and Pugsley are trying to kill each other the whole damn movie. That's cool, but I feel like we have suffered for that.
Have you seen the new animated one? Is it any different?
I did, man. I didn't care for it. Not at all. Not at all, but I love the movie, man. The movie is which, you know, the movie basically follows a gothic family living in present times, and they're like, everything you love or everything you do is basically like reversed in their household. Like normal people like me and Briggs might go and sunbathe. Well, not really, because look at us, but like Morticia, like moon bathes and.
Well, would it be moonbathe or sunbathe, Bo?
I don't know, Briggs. Probably moonbathe, knowing us. Oh man. But yeah, Adam's Family movie, totally a family friendly one, but great for adults as well. So, you know, and I like the second one as well. The kids get sent to a summer camp, and I can't speak on behalf of the third one.
Ah, there was a third one?
There was a third one, and I think it's like Tim Curry as Gomez Adams. Yeah.
Sadly, you can't top Raul Julia as Gomez.
You absolutely cannot, man. And what a trooper, because, like, I'm not sure about the first one anyway, but definitely by the second one, he had to have been sick.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I know he was sick sick as hell while he was filming Street Fighter, the movie, so.
Yeah.
Oh, God, people tune in are probably going to think I'm sitting here crying, man. Bo done rubbed pepper juice or some shit in his eyes up here, like. All right, Briggsy, what do you got next up on your list, dude?
Well, I was going to follow mine up with one that I think is honestly one of my favorite horror comedies, but one that seems to kind of escape conversation. It's 1988's Waxwork. And I think it's a pretty good balance between the horror elements and the comedic ones. It starts off as a pretty straight horror premise with a group of college kids coming across a waxwork that just appeared in their posh neighborhood out of the blue. And when they visit this waxwork, they're drawn into the exhibits, which take them to what are basically these dimensions that are like this super typical horror scenarios, and they're ultra campy. But at the same time, they all have these over-the-top elements, and it's got this overarching story where the person who runs this waxwork, far from just being like your typical anthology film like narrator, he's got this plan to get a victim in each one of the exhibits. And with these victims, they'll gain power and overtake the world. And with this overarching plot, it ends to this super over-the-top finale. And I don't want to spoil too much of, but it's gory, it's got visual gags. Like, throughout the film, the characters all have quirks and catchphrases. And even the minor characters get, like, super memorable jokes about them. Like, when our main character goes to write a history assignment, he has to investigate the waxwork instead, so he has his maid do it. And his maid is an immigrant who doesn't have a strong grasp of English.
Yeah.
He comes back, gets his history assignment. This essay he's supposed to have written on dictators. It starts off with, "I think the dictators is the bad thing. They have the shouting voices and the small mustaches."
Well, okay, man. So I haven't seen Waxwork as much. I think I've seen it once, like
at least once,
a while back. Is that the one, man, where like this freaking beast like dude just goes nuts on Pee Wee Herman and chokes him out on a table and he's spitting out teeth and shit everywhere?
That's the sequel.
Oh,
the sequel definitely cranks up the comedy and fantasy, but it's not nearly as good as Waxwork, the original.
Yeah, I remember like his brain pops out and it looks like one of those Nerf brain balls flying across the room, man. Like,
goes shooting across the room like a projectile body part from a Sam Raimi film.
And big points to anyone who remembers the Nerf brain ball.
Yeah. What's this, Bo?
Oh man, like back in the day, there was literally a Nerf brain ball, and it looked like a brain, and it was a football that you could. I mean, it was you threw it around like a football, but it looked just like a brain.
My God.
Yeah, dude, yeah. My cousin had one, man. That thing was badass. Ended up in a few
Anybody.
homemade horror movies.
Oh my God, that's great. Anybody who would make a film with a Nerf brain ball as a prop. If you would enjoy a film like that, definitely check out Waxwork because the sequel's got that, and the original's a lot better than the sequel. If you like splat stick, if you like campy characters, 100% check out Waxwork.
Okay, Briggs. Now, a couple of films have come up in the chat that I would. One I definitely would have included on the list. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a shout out, man. Jonas Acosta says Santa's Sleigh. Love that movie, dude. Try to watch it every year around Christmas time, man. Hilarious. And let's see. JK says, how about Sleepaway Camps 2 and 3? I'm probably the only son of a bitch in the world who actually can sit down and watch those and laugh at them. But they, Sleepaway Camp definitely devolves into a body count movie, and she just has like cheesy one-liners every time she kills somebody in them. Like,
And it's a high body count movie, so you get a whole shitload of cheesy one-liners.
oh, a shit ton. Just do not think you're a brave son of a bitch and watch the fourth Sleepaway Camp film. You're gonna have some bad times, my friends. But Briggsy, now it's time
Yes,
for my
bro?
next official pick, baby. And I know your little ass is going to jump all over this one and follow it up with a damn movie I hate. But here we
I
go.
think I know what you're about to
You
name.
know what I'm
Steve.
going next, baby. Bride of Chucky.
Which is a good-ass film. It's just probably my least favorite of the original five.
I love it, man. So, I mean, and it tries to, include a little bit of continuity here. So the film starts off with Chucky all cut up and shit from that huge fan he flew into in part 3. Got tore all to hell. So, turns out Chucky was bonking old Jennifer Tilly Briggs before he passed on. And she brings him back with a little bit of voodoo of her own. And, basically, they both become dolls and are trying to get back into their human bodies by obtaining the heart of Damballa, located in Hackensack, New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, they're like they are basically hanging out with another couple, like teenagers in love, forbidden love at that, Briggs. And these teenagers have no idea that they are transporting these dolls across the damn country, and that these dolls are alive. Like, they know they're transporting these dolls, but they don't know they're alive yet. And, well, as you can imagine, shit starts going haywire. And things also get hilarious.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
But I will say, man, this movie has it all for me. I mean, you have the introduction of Jennifer Tilly into the series. Chucky going comedic, which is like where I think he needed to go at this time.
Oh, yeah.
The soundtrack is totally on point. I mean, we get Rob Zombie a few times in this movie, I think, and it's just John Ritter. This movie has it all, man. So it's just a fun-ass, hilarious movie, and I think it's a natural progression for Chucky to go this route.
I absolutely think so myself. Like, I called it my least favorite of the original five, but I really think the original five is a strong series for going that route.
Absolutely, man. And well, Briggs, what I'm just gonna lay it out here. The best character in the movie, Alexis Arquette, baby. Fucking Damien Blaylock coming in, that son of a bitch, aka Howard Fitzwater. He's like the ultimate gothic turbo virgin, you said turbo nerd, but In this one, he's a turbo virgin because he can't get in Jennifer Tilly's pants. And he tries so desperately to get in those pants, Briggs. It's hilarious. But he ends up getting cucked by Chucky. All right, Briggs, go ahead and follow it up and ruin my selection because I know you're about to. Let's hear it.
Well, when did you think I was going to introduce it, Bo? Like, if
I'm...
Bride of Chucky is the natural projection of the three films that came before it, then Seed of Chucky was the natural progression from Bride. And I do
here
love,
we go. Here we go.
before anything, I love the fact that they did actually follow up the screaming doll baby from the end of Bride of Chucky, and they actually turned that into a full plot.
They did. I'll give them that. They didn't. A lot of films, Breathe. I will give them that. A lot of them would have been like, we're just going to pretend that last 5 minutes didn't happen.
Exactly. But the fact that they did go funny with it made for a lot of jokes, especially those who have heard the bad hype surrounding this film. Chucky and Tiffany's doll, child of indeterminate gender, grows up to be a very milquetoast character. Like he's not biting anybody's throat out after the end of Bride.
No.
And they discover he's basically being used as an attraction in a circus. So he comes across them. They wake back up and decide that they're going to teach him, who up until this point has been called Shitface, the ways of murder. And I love it because it's such a dark, funny family tale. Like, I think Glenn, or Glenda as it's sometimes called, is the most charming character in the Chucky series. And just the fact that he's along for the ride while Chucky... We get a film that is pretty much entirely from his perspective. Like, he's not hiding it. You see him. You're with him hiding.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're accompanied by this meek figure who Chucky's just trying to corrupt so badly makes for the funniest scenario that you could imagine.
Yeah,
and this is the one... I have to add, this is the one where Chucky accepted his role as the killer doll, where he stopped wanting, he dropped his desire to become human again. And I think that's probably the best direction for the series, to keep it from getting stale. Like, accept the fact that he's never going to get his human body back.
Man,
You're not going to get a Chucky movie with Brad Dourif in human form for the whole thing.
Yeah, man, I'm just not a fan of Seed. I would be down to watch it again. It's not one that's just so damn bad I'll never watch it again. But there are some things in it, man. Like I said, I wouldn't ever suggest it to somebody. That's my opinion. But there are some funny ass lines in it, and I will admit that. Like.
I did it again.
Yeah, what is it, man? Like, Chucky is, says that, violence is bad? And Glenda, he tries to explain, like, violence isn't bad, but violins are bad, because he fucking hates that screechy-ass music. Man, stuff like that is lines like that are hilarious in there. But man, it is one of those movies that's just like terribly dated to me.
Yeah.
Because it did have stuff like these parody The Matrix, so like Chucky or Glenn or whoever the hell is up in the air in like freeze motion, and Britney Spears passes Chucky on the road and flips him off. He crashes through.
It is very much of its time. Okay, that's
Absolutely.
kind of it's a point against it, but it's fun for it, I think. Like, if you ignore the context that every other movie was doing the same thing.
Yeah, well, I would say, like, if you're going to watch it now, before you do not get any of those jokes whatsoever. You know, it definitely has like a time limit on it, man.
Oh
For
God.
some of those things, But Bricks, I'm going with one that a lot of people forget about. I think this would definitely fall into that category of hidden gems or underappreciated horror movies, but it's fucking hilarious.
Hmm.
I think you'll agree with this pick here, Briggs. Idle Hands
Ah.
with old Devon Sawa and Seth Green and the dude from the Mighty Ducks, Butterfly, Fulton from the Mighty Ducks. But
And that's another one that got trashed on release, but we watch it and wonder what the hell was ever wrong with it.
yeah, man, it has a great, not only is it funny, but it has a great Halloween feel to it. But all Jessica
Yeah.
Alba's in it. But it follows Anton, who's like a teenage stoner to the max, who just walks through life and has no idea what in the hell is going on around him. And basically, a serial killer is on the loose in his hometown. And so the serial killer wipes out his family, wipes out his friends, and eventually takes over Anton's own hand. But it's hilarious, man, because his friends turn into like these zombies that are trying to help him. Throughout the movie, you have like the redneck neighbor, a la me, chilling out with the huge, huge jacked up truck, listening to AC/DC and shit, trying to like, or Motley Crue, trying to like help him out. Man, it's fun movie, man, and it's hilarious, I think, and it just deserves a lot more attention, man.
Absolutely. Like you talk about like the when you talk about the 90s, you really don't seem to get like kind of the second string hidden gems talked about too much. Idle Hands, like it's 100% 90s, but it's got kind of the 80s horror comedy charm to it that didn't seem to transcend the 2000s and onward.
Yeah, man, and Dragon Blue says here the zombie friends are the best, and they really are. They have stuff going on. One got his head chopped off, and he's trying to like eat a burrito, and the beans and stuff are coming out of his neck.
It's
Man.
like the apparition in American Werewolf in London, except taken up to a different level.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know there are a lot of people out there who aren't fans of Seth Green, but he's pretty damn good in this one, man.
Yeah,
Really
for
good.
sure. It's like even if you're not a fan of Paris Hilton, you'll definitely like her in Repo.
Yeah, that is one that I still need to get some people to watch. Like I've only seen it once, but I remember liking it or at least laughing a bunch. And didn't it have Meatloaf in it?
Not Meatloaf, it had Anthony Head in it.
Okay. Okay. But yes, so Idle Hands, funny, great Halloween feel to it. It even ends up at like a high school dance at some point. And you have the Offspring, if I remember right, playing up on the stage. Yeah, great movie and a little bit of got a little bit of a whodunit vibe to it, Briggsy.
I don't recall the Who Done It vibe, but it's just super hot. It's a fun film to watch.
Absolutely, definitely. If you're the type of person who does like the 31 days of Halloween, add it to your list because I try to add it every single year. It's
Hmm.
hilarious. But all right, Briggsy, man, what's up next on your list? And you better not disappoint me, Briggsy. I see that look in your eye. You gotta follow up Seed of Chucky with something good, dude.
Oh, all right. What about Cemetery Man?
Cemetery
You don't
Man,
have a problem with that, do
aka
you?
Briggs, aka. Do you know
El
it?
Amorte
There
dell'Amore.
you go, my man.
Um, it's from the same writer as the long-running Italian comic series Dylan Dog, which you might remember from Dylan Dog Dead of Night, which came out um, about 10 years ago now, and it's more of a faithful adaptation. Like Cemetery Man is kind of like something of a loose parody. But it follows this groundskeeper at a cemetery where the dead keep rising for completely unknown reasons. Like every night, he has to put the reanimated corpses down, keep them from getting out. And
Mm-hmm.
his only like assistance in this, and he there's a scene where he actually asks the city for assistance, but it's this his assistant at the cemetery who only knows the word nah. His
Nagi.
name is
Oh,
Nagi.
Nagi. Yeah.
And the movie follows him while he's played with this kind of curse of sorts. At the same time, he wants to find himself a girlfriend, and his attempts to do so are more or less cursed. He keeps seeing the same woman over and over, and it
Mm.
keeps becoming impossible for it to work out. Eventually, things start to get very surreal when his uh, Francesco Della Morte, which is the character's name, his killings start to blur the line from zombies
Ooh.
to the living.
Yeah, man. Oh, it's been a long time since I've seen that one. I've only seen it once, but I do, like some takeaways. I do remember that, like, he has to kill the dead every night and return them to their graves, but the sequences with the girl are very surreal, aren't they? Like
Hmm.
dreamlike. And Nagi, I remember Nagi eating that damn bowl of spaghetti or something. I don't remember it being the funniest, but I don't remember it being a bad. I'd have to watch it again, like I said, but so I'm on board with you on this one, man. I would suggest watching it either way because I do remember it being like a good movie.
What I'd recommend, like, go into it with this mindset. Like, it's not exactly a joke kind of funny, it's not a ha ha kind of funny.
Yeah.
It's more of a surreal kind of funny. Like, where the
Mm.
humor comes from just how out there the situation is and
Mm.
how bad it's getting for poor Francesco.
Yeah. All right, Breezy. Now we do have a couple comments here I want to go over, man. Daughter of Death, old DOD, said, didn't Seth Green get his start in It in 1990? I can't
He
remember him
was
being
in
in
it.
anything younger than that, I don't think. So,
Mhm.
very possible there. Dragon Blue suggests American Werewolf in London. I definitely think that should make the list. Let's see here.
It's
Go ahead,
worth a
Briggs.
watch for me. Like American Werewolf in London, it's one for me where it was the funniest on the first watch, and it's the scariest on the first watch as well. It hasn't held up as much on rewatches once the novelty wears off.
Yeah, I remember you actually telling me that not too long ago. That it's like every time you rewatch it, your rating for it seems to go down by like half a point.
Granted, I haven't seen it in a while. Maybe my opinion's gotten better since then.
I hear you. And Billy Judd says, Briggs, and this is one I feel like I can comment on. I don't. I could maybe see it making the list if I did my list based on your criteria. He
Hmm.
says Pet Cemetery 2 with Clancy Brown.
Ah,
Man, there's some funny ass Clancy Brown lines in that one, Well, I was trying to build a doggy dog. And stuff like that. But, I could see the argument that it's not terribly funny. And it has, like, some pretty damn gross stuff in there and some pretty horrifying stuff in there, too, man. At the end, like,
mhm.
when the fire's going and, like, his mom is fucking melting in front of him. Like, woof.
That
That's a.
Cemetery too. In general, it's a very underrated one. I think like
I,
it's
I
get
agree,
passed over just
It,
because it's a sequel that Stephen King had no hand in, but it's good.
yeah, it's definitely not on the level of Pet Cemetery 1, but it is still a good movie, and man, some very dark points in that one, man. Like, come on. Tucker and Dell versus Evil, that has made my list, JK. So go ahead and go into that one. Now, Tucker and Dale versus Evil follows two hillbillies from the big WV who have just bought their dream cabin in the middle of the woods, for, sort of as their vacation home. And some college kids happen to be camping in these woods, and oh my God, Briggs, things get off the hinges really damn quick in this one, because the college kids, for some reason, hate rednecks, and probably from all the way the media portrays us. So they become convinced that these two hillbillies are serial killers, and the college kids keep trying to, like, basically attack, because one of their friends comes up missing, and the two rednecks, like, help her and bring her into their cabin. So the college kids naturally assume that the two rednecks, Tucker and Dale, have kidnapped their friend. So they keep attempting to help their friend, but accidentally killing themselves in the process. So, to the college kids, they think Tucker and Dale are killing their friends. Tucker and Dale think the college kids have come to the woods as some sort of suicide pact and keep killing themselves on their land. And it's hilarious, man.
I give Tucker and Dale mad prompts for one main reason, and that's that it's a premise that had kind of been a dream of mine for years before the film was actually developed. It's your typical backwoods horror film, but it's a spoof wherein the actual supposed cannibals are just a normal, like, wood-dwelling family, and all the horror in the victim's eyes comes from as a result of culture shock, and they end up mostly doing themselves in.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the thumbnail I made for this live stream is a Tucker and Dale thumbnail, dude. So had to make the list. I think everybody knew it was coming at one point, dude. But it's hilarious and very gory. The death scenes are just outrageous. Like, one dude, and JK's talking about it in the chat over here, man. He goes to, like, stab Tucker or Dale, whichever one. He goes to stab his ass, man, while Tucker's, like, feeding wood into this chipper. Well, when he turns around to get a log, the college kid who's running up to stab him accidentally throws himself into the wood chipper. And you have Tucker, like, trying to pull him out, so it looks like he's actually feeding the kid into the wood chipper. But a special feature on the DVD that some of you might not know about is that there's like a half an hour cut of the film from the college kid's perspective. So it's a cut that is an actual horror movie.
I was not aware of that, and that's genius.
Absolutely, man. Such a great movie. And it's nice to see, like, because some of the nicest people you're going to meet, this may seem biased being a West Virginian myself, but some of the nicest people you meet are going to be from, like, us hillbilly states, Briggs. And
backwoods.
Backwoods people, man. And it's nice that we're not inbred hillbilly cannibals for once. I mean,
or dumbasses that pad the body count.
Yeah, so it's, had to end up on the list, dude.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to hear what Briggsy has in store for me next.
I'll throw another Southern fried one at you.
Ooh.
And another obscure one at that. Hide and Creep. Came out...
Creep?
Yeah. Can you guess what it's about from that, dude?
Hide and Creep. Well, does it have Robert De Niro in it?
Absolutely not. It is the Redneck Shaun of the Dead.
Ooh.
It's got a shoestring budget. It's got, like, one actor playing two characters in it. But the script is just so down home and hilarious. It's got, I believe, 3 or 4 interconnecting stories. One about a guy running a video shop.
Mm-hmm.
And his struggles as he stays inside. Four people in a gun club who kind of go out and try and survive the situation. One of them ends up being one of the heroes of the film. The other one ends up killed by panicked grocery store goers because he has barbecue sauce on his face. Um, and dude, one's about a priest who's gotten bit and trying to survive this while bemoaning the fact that church attendance is down.
Oh.
Its script pushes it above. It pushes it so far above where the actual budget was. I 100% recommend it if you like Southern humor and if you enjoy a good zombie spoof.
So, would you say it's like Shaun of the Dead in the way that you got the main characters that are buddies? Because I think that's a big part of the success for Shaun of the Dead for me, man.
Some of the characters in the different interlocking stories, they are best buds with one another and they communicate throughout the film. And that's part of it. It is kind of like a film where you fall in love with the characters. I really dig that. It's not often lower budget picture puts so much love into the characterization.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, it's not one you would expect to be worthwhile maybe from the title, but give it a shot. See if the script grabs you. It's it's conversational humor. It's I don't know if it's exactly Shaun of the Dead style of humor. It's more dialogue driven, kind of like your typical. It's kind of like Clerks.
Oh, okay, cool.
Less cussing.
Okay, I got you, man. I got you. Well, let's check out some of the comments here really quick here, Briggs. So let's see. DOD says you've got some red on you. Jonas Jonas agrees with the good old Southern hospitality, baby. Necro says
awesome.
Henry says Ghost Rider too. Now, I'm not that familiar with the Ghost Rider series. I'd have to.
I don't know if I'd call it horror, but it's a comedy.
Okay. Let's see. JK says he's calling me out a little bit here, Briggs. He's got me up against the ropes. He says, if you can believe the audacity, he says, I'm surprised an Exorcist fan isn't putting Repossessed on this list. And did you just assume my Exorcist fandom, JK? Okay.
Did you just not put Repossessed on the list, Bob?
Or did I not just put Repossessed on the list? No, okay, so I haven't seen it. I really want to. I know that it is a spoof of The Exorcist, man, but I really want to see it, and I just haven't.
I haven't seen Repossessed, but I have seen Dracula, Dead and Loving It, which is a vampire parody, a parody of Bram Stoker's Dracula with Leslie Nielsen in the title role.
Oh, man.
Who's also in Repossessed.
Yeah. So, I do want to watch Repossessed. I'm going to have to make that happen, and I probably will love it. I'm assuming I will, being such a huge Exorcist fan, and I know it has Leslie Nielsen, and Linda Blair reprises her role as Reagan or something, or as a possessed person anyway.
A repossessed person.
A repossessed person.
Not that much.
But, back to my official list here, Briggsy boy. I am going, and this is somewhat similar comedy style of something, probably like Dracula Dead and Loving It, Briggs. I am going with Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
Well, don't assume that either, dude. Because Dracula Dead and Loving is more of a spoof, and Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, more of a road movie, almost. No.
Not really. I mean, Elvira is kind of like a spoof on herself as the sexy temptress that she is. Elvira just owns what she is. So everybody knows Elvira, I think. The hostess with the mostest. And she is basically, oh yeah. And she is basically playing herself in this movie as the hostess with the mostest. But she gets like, it turns out like her aunt or uncle or somebody died and left her like a mansion out of state. So she hits the road, goes to this mansion, and there's an evil dude in town who wants a book that is in that mansion so he can come to power or something like that, you know. But the whole thing is, man, it's like the plot of the movie doesn't even matter to me because it's just so damn funny. I don't give a damn where it's going because it's Elvira and it's funny as hell, man. The whole movie is just pun after sexual pun after sexual pun. And it's so hilarious and just fun, man. And I see what you're saying about the whole road trip aspect, but I think the road trip takes place in like the first 10 minutes. And then she's at her newly acquired residence.
It's like hanging out with her, and it's tons of fun. Like, it ends up getting more serious than you might expect from just the basic rundown, but it stays kind of lighthearted and very charming throughout.
Oh yeah, and you get 90 minutes filled with Elvira. I don't know any damn horror fan out there who doesn't want that. You know, I mean, watch some of the videos I've done on this channel, and you will just come to love her. I mean, you know, because the first thing that like popped in my head when you mentioned the road trip is like, you know, because she has that sweet ass car of hers, the Elvira mobile, and it's like she stops at a gas station and she's cleaning her own windshield, and it's like from the inside of the car as if you were in the driver's seat and you just see her boobs just boink 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 with the fucking windshield, man.
It's not subtle, but that's not what you watch it for.
Yeah, I love her, man. She knows exactly what she is, and she owns it, baby. So if you haven't seen Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, make that happen now. And if I remember right, Haunted Hills is more of the same thing. It just happened way later. Yeah. Doesn't quite have that 80s cheese to it, but... Alright, Briggs, man, we're getting some more comments in here. Let's go ahead and say hello to Merrigan. You know, longtime member of the horror fam. We have Michael Tula also. Holy shit, that's some horror fam alumni right there, Briggs.
Oh, yeah.
But he's calling us out a little bit too here, Briggsy boy.
I welcome it. What's he say?
He's got something to take up with us, Briggs, and I want to know what your response is to this. He says, y'all better have mentioned Tremors.
God, I don't know. Like, that's such a genre blend, and it's per Bo's instructions that I'm doing predominantly funny horror movies. I'm not trying to focus on ones that are kind of blends like Tremors was.
Well, Briggs, you know, I could maybe be persuaded to give that one a pass because of old Fred Ward in it.
I give it a pass maybe because of Burt Gummer.
Oh,
Michael Gross.
Michael Gross. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just had to explain to a friend of mine that, like, Jamie Kennedy has been relegated to Tremors films. Like, the past 5 years or something. Like,
aw, poor dude.
Yeah, that sudden spring up of Tremors sequels that came out of nowhere, like
Shrieker Island.
But all right, Briggs, what do you dare follow up my pick of Elvira with?
Well, I'm just gonna throw it out there, dude.
I'm gonna
Good, because this is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and no matter what you say, this is 100% a comedy horror film.
Briggs, have you been eating the chili? What are you doing?
I've eaten the chili, and it's grown me strong, Bo.
All I'm going to say, Briggs, is Brazos.
You cannot look at a film that has a chainsaw duel between Dennis Hopper and Leatherface as its central as its climax, and tell me that doesn't at least tickle your funny bone a little.
Man, I could honestly see it going either way, because I recently showed this. Oh, Dragon Blue says, ugh, Briggs! Okay, so I could see this going either way, but Jonas Acosta applauds you. So I will say that right off the bat before we get into this, man. I can see it going either way because, like, I definitely know they went the more cheesy route with it. They went the more comedic route with it, but it kind of... Shit, man, it's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, so and it's still, gross. Missy JoJo says, gross, no way. I can see that. So I can see people's reception of it either way. Like, some people think it's hilarious and love it, but typically, like, your hardcore horror fans think that. And, the average
We're all
person...
hardcore horror fans here, right?
And some people I could see being like, holy shit, this is just annoying, because, you do get, like, particularly with the Chop Top character, because he's so over the damn top. And run around...
That's the draw, man. Like, Bill Moseley. Like, I like him more than Otis, dude.
Well, okay, so...
This is him cutting loose, and I love it. I'm there for it. Dude, and the whole family in this one, they get to be the same psychos they were in part 1, but just
dialed up,
different direction.
Yeah, they're like dialed up. It's like it's the same psychos, but if they drank a shit ton of Monster energy drinks or something, like...
Oh, yeah!
But I mean, dude, it's so... God, it's like the mood and shit is so conflicted and weird in it, and it's like, it doesn't... Like, at times it wants to be serious and dark, and at other times it wants to be funny. It's like, what the hell's up with Dennis Hopper being an alcoholic? I mean, like, don't you get in my way. but then again, like, to show you that, like, he's an alcoholic. It turns out he was related to Franklin and Sally, who were killed off. They were his niece and nephew or whatever, who were killed off in the original, and he is chasing the family from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And so, just to show you, like, to give you an example of how dark it is, like, he's in his hotel and he is drunk off his ass and just clearly depressed. I mean, like, his eyes are, like, sunk in, looking in dark, right? So you get that. But then in the next fucking scene with him, he's at, like, a chainsaw shop out in the middle of nowhere, and like, holsters 2 little chainsaws, takes a huge one outside and literally starts chopping wood with the big one, and, like, the shop owner is almost having, like, a damn orgasm off in the distance. Like,
I want you to explain to me, Steve, how you would sell his conviction to purchase these chainsaws and put them in 2 little holsters if you didn't have those scenes of depression prior to that.
I don't know, man. It's Dennis Hopper, we'll just say, has went off the hinges in this one. Crazy,
That's Dennis Hopper at his best, buddy.
That's the damn Koopa Trooper or whatever, or Bowser from the Super Mario Brothers movie. But so. What would you tell someone to entice them, Briggs? They're like, man, like, am I going to laugh? Is it going to, like, to the average person, like, how would you sell this movie to them, Briggs, as a comedy? What would you say? Would you give them, what would you compare it to?
God, I'd compare it to Evil Dead 2, man. Like, it takes the gory, splattery elements that, well, were attributed to the original, and it just has fun with them. It turns that into the gag. And it turns... I would maybe compare it to a spoof version of The Devil's Rejects. Like,
okay.
Something that turns your typical psycho family movie and just plays with it. Like, it doesn't really satirize it, it just plays with it.
Okay, Briggs, you know what? I'm going to say it again. I think you have been eating the chili. You know, but I'm seeing a few comments over here about a movie that I did include on my list. And it is my turn, Briggs, and I'm going to take that turn. Michael Tula and JK over here have been talking about Return of the Living Dead, baby. And that is one that made my list.
I would have wondered what happened to you if it didn't. Like, the one thing I can see disqualifying it is because, to my mind, is the perfect blend of horror and comedy. It's uproariously funny, and it's nail-bitingly tense.
Yeah, man, absolutely. But, you know, this is an 80s horror film. So this was before zombies were running in every movie. Zombies not only run in Return of the Living Dead, but they're virtually indestructible.
Oh yeah, don't aim for the head. You'll just piss them off.
Even if you chop them up, they can still attack you. As a matter of fact, a couple people I know of get owned by some, by some dismembered zombie. But, yeah, man, so it follows a couple dudes who work at a medical supply warehouse. And it also follows a group of teenagers who are just looking to party. And the dudes at the medical supply warehouse accidentally unleash some poisonous gas that bring the dead back to life. And these teens who are partying happen to be partying in a graveyard of all places, Briggs.
It's the 80s, they're punks.
Yes. And these two geniuses, and that is exactly how they're referred to in the film, very sarcastically by Mr. Clue Gallagher, decide, they all come up with the collective decision that to get rid of these corpses so they don't get in trouble is to burn them in a crematorium. Well,
Yes.
that unleashes toxic gas into the air, which then rains down into the cemetery. But one thing I'll say, man, all the characters are memorable. You're going to love every single one of them, whether it's the damn high school kids, whether it's the dudes who work at the medical supply warehouse, or whether it's the dude who runs the mortuary. It's very well acted. And
Great effects.
Great effects. The practical effects are amazing. But Briggs, the soundtrack.
So burn!
Burn the flames!
Burn the flames!
The surfing dead. You have like the Cramps, Oingo Boy. I mean, dude. Great soundtrack, man.
It's 1985 and it's the fun part of 1985 in a movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. So, Return of the Living Dead. Shaun of the Dead was close to making the list for me, and it should. It should, but, with time constraints and stuff, I need to talk about a zombie film. I'm going with Return of the Living Dead. I have the poster hanging up in my living room, and it's amazing poster art, too. I mean, this movie ticked so many boxes for me, man.
Mm-hmm. Like that neon green on the poster, Clue Gallagher, Don Caffa, Mark Venturini, rest his soul.
Man, yeah, Tom Matthews.
He's got
Joel
such
Shepard, Miguel Nunez.
Star-studded cast, and it's one of the more underrated ensembles in a horror film. Like when you brought up all the characters being memorable, that just clicked with me. Yeah, you don't really think about that, but the cast in Return of the Living Dead is just so key to what keeps you watching.
And who plays Frank? I can't believe
James Karen.
James Karen, there you go, man. Great. And him and Tom Matthews also returned for the sequel, but which is more over the top. But man, Return of the Living Dead all the way. And Briggs, you know what? I have
Yes, Bo?
I have essentially crapped on you this whole time.
It's part of the course, dude.
It is part of the course, Briggs. But I'll tell you what, man, I'm gonna do you a solid number 2.
Hey.
Yeah. So we're approaching an hour here. I'm gonna let you have last suggestion for best comedic horror movies, and then we'll just kind of go down our list and give people the ones that made the list, but we couldn't necessarily delve into.
Last one, I guess I would have to mention. It's Behind the Mask, which,
The
if you've
Rise
never
of
heard
Leslie
of it,
Vernon, right?
that's right.
Okay.
Which, if you haven't heard of that, it's a hybrid found footage slasher satire film where this film crew follows a slasher, a career slasher in a universe where all the major slashers were actual living people. Like Jason was a living guy, Michael was a living guy, somehow Freddy Krueger was a living guy, but
Yeah.
this film follows Leslie Vernon, who's trying to make a name for himself. And this film crew is learning the ins and outs of what a slasher does as Leslie is preparing to go to this isolated house, or is planning to manipulate events so that he can stalk this group of typical high school teens at this secluded house. It's got everything from the doomsayer to the killer's rival, who's referred to as the Ahab in this one, who is Robert Englund, in what is, I would say, definitely his second best role.
So you're saying, Breeze, we even get a Harbinger.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love it, man. Yeah, I haven't seen that. I think it was on Netflix back in the day.
You've never seen The Rise of Leslie Vernon?
No, I have seen it, but I haven't
Oh.
seen it since I did, like, when it first came. I think it was on Netflix is where I saw it, man. But
I just wanted to make sure to say this one, dude, because we were going to be talking about, I don't know if you still want to do this, but is the slasher dead this same time next week?
yeah.
And Leslie Vernon does an interesting thing with half an hour, 20 minutes to go, it drops the found footage angle, and it places this film crew at this isolated location, and all of a sudden, now they're targets too. And
So
I want to throw that out there because it shows, I think, no matter how much you kind of meta-commentate on it, no matter how much you kind of tear it apart and satirize it, I think the slasher genre is something that's always going to have something to offer, because no matter how much you comment on it, that's always going to be a scary scenario.
So it drops that whole, because like I said, it's been a long time, man. So does it drop the found footage scenario kind of in the same way that Rec 3 drops it? Like it goes to a traditionally shot film?
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool, man. Which, by the way, shout out to Rec 3 for doing. I thought they did it masterfully. You just kind of see like the battery start flashing like it's dying on the camera, and just then it goes to like, the way a typical film is shot, and you just see the camera die, and it's like, oh, so lovely.
That
Okay.
was super clever.
Okay, Briggs. So I'm going to go through my list really quickly, and then we'll hit some comments and call it a night, my friends. So make sure you stick around, because we may be shouting you out in the chat over here. So, Briggs, do you want to sort of zipper it up here, man? Like, I'll name one, then we'll go to you?
I figured we were just going to do what we did last week and just name off our list kind of one by one and just do a real brief description of the ones we didn't quite get to.
Well, I think, some of mine, man, are so typical, but I feel like they don't need it. Like, people probably already know about them.
All right, let's try it this way. Go ahead.
Man. So, first up for me, that I did not get a chance to throw out here, Cabin Fever. Okay, and we'll see if we agree with each other too, man. What you think, Cabin Fever? I mean, a lot of cheese and corn in there, man, and
If we're talking the best, I don't think I'd throw Cabin Fever in there, but it's worth a watch for sure. I, if only for Deputy Winston alone, who is such a
Absolutely.
unique character.
Yeah.
He's a
Well,
cop who loves to party.
yeah, he's the party man. Well, and you also have Jeff, who's like a total germaphobe and just bitching the whole movie. And like, if this were to bring about a lawsuit, I'm just saying you might be liable. Like, All right, Briggsy, what you got next up, baby?
The first one I guess I'd throw out there is Housebound, which
Mm,
is an Australian film about kind of a low key, like, a young criminal
mm,
who's caught in the act during trying to break break into an ATM, and she's put on house arrest with her mother, and she don't get along with
mm,
her. She thinks she's kind of batty, but
mm,
soon after beginning to live in this house, she starts hearing sounds, and she starts to get the idea that this place may be haunted. It's one that verges like more comedic than horrific, which is why it almost made the list for me.
mm,
It's really, despite that, kind of a real slow burn, kind of character driven, which is
mm.
I was just having kind of a hard time pointing out standout scenes.
Okay, okay. Now, next up on my list here, Briggs, and keep in mind, when we come up with these lists, I kind of just like a flood comes out, and I start right. So, I may have would have arranged or even taken them off the list, but um, I do think this one was funny. I've only seen it once. I'd love to watch it again because if I remember right, it's freaking hilarious. It is Piranha 3 Double D, which which
The
which
contender for the biggest body count in films for a while, or bloodiest film or something.
but so I don't remember it all. Well, yes, there is a big ass body count, but it's like it has Danielle Panabaker, who some of y'all may remember from like the Friday the 13th remake and the Crazies. And it also stars one of Will Ferrell's dudes, the bald dude.
Bald Will Ferrell dude.
Yeah, the bald Will Ferrell dude, kind of fat. He's in shit like Anchorman, and
Oh, are you talking about Bam?
I don't know. But yeah, but
Catalina wine mixer. Bam!
I don't think so. Doesn't he wear like a cowboy hat or something in Anchorman, or is that him? But so it basically follows him, and he's like a really sleazy guy who's trying to open like a water park or something like that. But this perverted son of a bitch has installed like cameras in the pool so he can spy on like the chicks in it in their bikinis or something like that. And yeah, so it offers up opportunity for great close up crazy gore. So
That too.
yeah. So, but if I mean, it's just hilarious, like what a pervert the dude is, and like what a just he's like, oh man, this is such a great idea. Like, but all right, Briggs, what you got, baby?
Next one I put on that I kind of didn't mention because it was one of the more borderline ones.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the precursor to Malignant, Basket Case.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
About two Siamese twin brothers, one of whom got removed from the other at a young age, but now wants vengeance on the doctors who did so. Um,
Ooh.
it's another super low budget one, ultra corny, but it's one where it's kind of like humor's more like in its low budgetness, and it's not that funny of a story by itself, but um, there's something like intrinsically a sort of zany about the fact that it's this tiny deformed Siamese twin like going on a murder spree, and his total like weenie brother is complicit in it.
Yeah. Oh, Belial.
The Bradley twins.
Yeah. Okay, Breeze, I'm just going to run through mine because if I wrote down so damn much that. So I'll just say him. Next up is The Editor, which is like a spoof on Italian giallos and a total whodunit. So.
And it's one that really does embrace the weirdness of giallo. Like it's not. It doesn't try and make sense all the time.
Hell no. It's, oh my God. Women are going blind from hysterical blindness, and there's just unnecessary naked men run around in the background the whole damn movie, and
It needed an editor, is what it needed.
yeah, it did. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. More 80s cheese right there. Beetlejuice. Hocus Pocus. The Hatchet series, which is like but to be fair, it's sort of almost like a damn slasher spoof in a ways, like an 80s slasher spoof. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it could. What We Do in the Shadows, both the movie and the TV show are epically funny as hell.
Oh yeah.
Night of the Creeps. This also made it on my hidden gems list. If you have not seen Night of the Creeps, get your ass to your TV right now, plop it down on that couch, and watch Night of the Creeps. You will not regret it. End your night with Tom Atkins. Every woman's dream. Tales from the Crypt presents Demon Knight. The Lost Boys. Oh, what were you?
Two action hybrids there.
There you go. Ghostbusters. And some that are a little newer here, Briggs. Happy Death Day. The Babysitter. The Cabin in the Woods. And then we're going to end with another 80s gem of a film that's just a lovable movie. The Monster Squad.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Need to watch it at least once. Just
absolutely. It's like all the horror icons rolled into one movie, and it's just funny, and think of it like something like The Goonies if it was a horror movie.
Mm-hmm. It's just kind of what it is, man. It's like all the old icons wrapped into like kind of a kid's adventure.
Yeah. All right, Briggs, you want to run us through yours, brother man?
Real quick, I just had a few more myself. I gotta throw some full moon films on there, so I almost talked about Blood Dolls.
Oh my God, he's been paid by Charles Band, that son of a bitch, before he logged onto this podcast.
I am Charles Band, dude.
Oh no! Well, I call bullshit, or you would have said "dude" every other word.
Blood Dolls. I'm gonna throw in Ginger Dead Man 2: The Passion of the Crust on there, just because it is a spoof of full moon movies. So if you're a full moon fan, that's gonna kind of like blow you away, the fact that they're actually knowingly poking fun at themselves.
Briggs, for the people who are only listening to this and not watching the video version, I hope they can hear the eye roll that I just did. But no, I mean, yeah, the Ginger Dead Man movies are cheesy as hell. Gary Busey plays a damn killer Ginger Dead Man, and
only in the first one.
Oh God, they couldn't afford to get him back for the second, could they?
No.
Oh, good Lord.
But don't listen to Bo, guys. Like
next damn week he's slowly working all the damn full moon movies in here. Next week it'll be Ginger Dead Man 3 Saturday Night Cleaver.
We're talking about our slashers dead, right? So I'd probably throw in Castle Freak instead.
Oh God. Oh.
But no, I'm not bullshitting you there. Ginger Dead Man 2 is a spoof of full moon movies. Watch it if you like them. Watch it if you hate them. Moving on, Monster Man, which is another one it's one from the 2000s, but it kind of has the 80s horror comedy feel to it, and where it's high in like buddy element. It's got lots of practical effects. It's got kind of a gory ass showdown at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got a killer in a monster truck. Check it out for sure.
Oh shit.
And I had on two on there from the 60s, which I just regret mentioning because we talk so little about films pre 1970, I guess, so far on these shows.
Mm-hmm.
Spider Baby, which is a film starring Lon Chaney Jr. as the caretaker for three adult children who have a rare genetic disorder that causes them to mentally regress after they hit a certain age.
Oh no.
And one of them has taken up cannibalism, which
Oof.
unfortunately speeds up the process.
Damn,
other
Briggs
one-
over here. That sounds awful damn dark, Briggs. Next, Briggs, like another funny one I want to add on the list is Faces of Death.
It's a horror comedy, dude, not a fairy comedy.
I really like the part where the man who tries to feed the alligator gets his arm bitten off and crashes around in the lake there for a while. Did you hear my ringtone, Briggs?
What was your ringtone, Steve?
I still haven't changed it from Christmas, man. Have you ever seen, what is it, Love Actually?
No?
Well, Bill Nighy is in it, and he plays a rock star, man. And he's kind of like Robert Palmer. So it's, yeah, he sings a love Christmas song, and that was my ringtone.
I'm sure you fully meant to change it when New Year's came around, Bo.
I had good intentions, Briggs, but it's such a great song, man. I need to send you the music video for it after this.
Last one, another one from the 60s. I had planned on including it. I would have included it if I remembered it better. And that's Comedy of Terrors. With Vincent Price, because I wanted to include at least one Vincent Price film on the list. Compared to ones like Dr. Phibes or like Theater of Blood, it definitely edges more towards comedy than like splatter. But it's about this undertaker who's suffering in business because nobody in his town seems to be dying anytime soon. So he goes out and he starts killing them himself.
Oh, man.
This whole time he's living with an old relative who, despite his schemes and despite his wishes, will not die.
Ooh.
But sleepeth at one point for a very long time.
So you're saying essentially that this person is like the damn, like you in my world, Briggs. I've been trying to kill you for 10 years and I almost had you at the pumpkin house, but I just cannot seem to make it happen. Okay. Okay.
Got you excited for a second, didn't I, Bo?
Maybe. Oh God, but sadly, Briggs, that comedy you're talking about reminds me of those two dudes who, like, back in the day, found out that you could sell shit to hospitals or to scientists or whatever, so they go out and like steal organs. So they eventually started like killing people and like selling their bodies to science or whatever. Like, Jesus Christ.
Burke and Hare?
Yeah, Burke and Hare. Holy shit, Briggs. Damn, maybe I will keep you around a little bit longer.
I can be useful in certain situations.
Yeah. We both store a wealth of useless knowledge in these noggins, baby.
Hell yeah, and I hope the horror fan enjoys hearing us talk about it.
Well,
Because we'll be back next Thursday.
Oh yeah, man. Even had to make it happen on vacation, but let me tell you something, Briggs. We're going to have to wrap this bad boy up, so let's go ahead and look at some of these comments we got here. Now, first of all, I want to give a big shout out to everybody who came in tonight. JK, Jonas, Missy, JoJo. Man, look at Briggs with the longing embrace Oh, the little hard hands. Goodness gracious. Just like a Taco Bell commercial, but in real life. I love it.
I love who got that.
Yeah.
That's where you went.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Billy Judd, JK, DOD, Dragon Blues, Necro, everybody. Except for those of you who didn't agree with me. Y'all can piss off, but totally kidding. I love you too. Alright, let's see what we got here, Briggs. Marion Beltran says, have we talked about horror movies that are unintentionally funny? That would be a good one for a future episode, but we're probably going to talk about shit that nobody cares about, like bloody murders.
Dracula 3000.
Oh, God.
Amityville 3D, which is the greatest ending ever put to film. I'll just say that.
Briggs, can you believe this? Can you believe this sort of betrayal here? You know, it's one thing that I bring it up, but Dragon Blue says that ringtone, though, and then puts laughy emojis. What am I supposed to get from this, Briggs?
It means you ought to change it to something more, you know, April Fool's-y or summery, probably, at this point.
What the hell would I put on there, Briggs? Strawberry wine?
There was a mushroom, a sad little mushroom.
Oh.
There was a meadow ready to cry.
If somebody could clip that for me and just send it to me, I'll save it. And Briggs can be my ringtone.
Wait, gotta get to the chorus for it to be. And the Lord said, laugh, children laugh. The Lord said, laugh, children laugh.
Oh, Briggs, what if I could get you to do? God is in his holy temple. What's
God is in his holy temple.
Oh, man. Oh, my goodness gracious.
Not gonna beat that, dude.
No. Briggs, you know the way to my heart, dude. You're just like old Harry Warden. Oh, let's see here. That reminds me of Arsenic.
Dead on the scene, Steve.
Oh, God. Here's Briggs trying to make a suicide pact with me here on the damn podcast.
Together forever, dude.
Together forever, brother. We do have a very, I'm not going to tell anybody because it's just ours, Briggs, but we do have parting words we share every night that are very similar to that we've done for a while, and it is horror movie based. So, but Dragon,
are you just gonna share that for the crowd, Bo? I hope not.
Nope, that's ours. That is ours, Briggs. I'm taking it. It remains just ours. So it'll just have to kill them trying to figure it out. But Dragon Blues here says, Briggs, that that reminds me of Arsenic and Old Lace.
It's another one I could have put on the list, but if only I had a better recollection of it, because it has been literally over a decade since I watched Arsenic and Old Lace. It's got not Boris Karloff in it, but a pretty good impersonation, if I remember correctly. Maybe it was Boris Karloff for the movie, but the joke is that everybody keeps comparing him to Boris Karloff.
Briggs, we're getting a lot of love in here, man. Are you seeing this? Briggs for the win? Necro says, great job as always. DOD says, this was fun, boyos. Michael Tula with great stream, fellas. Merrigan says, Arnold with Roddy McDowell. Let's see here. Necro says, terrifying, which he may be talking about our singing. I'm not sure there, Briggs. Jonah says the three of us got to start up a band. Hell yeah, we'd be hot as love, you know. Damn, I think Merrigan's commenting on your voice there, Briggs. She says, that was high.
Just like me.
Shit, I knew something was up when he started Suggested full moon movies. I'm amazed you didn't suggest like Evil Bong. Hey Briggs, what am I from? Monkey. Oh, good God, man. But this was fun, Briggs. We got to do this more often.
It's a good one to talk about. I mean, horror comedies are what got me into horror in general. So I can go on and on about them, really.
DOD and DOD, I haven't seen that since I was a kid, so I can't really comment on it. I just remember it had like Michael J. Fox and ghosts in it, but she said she's calling us out because we didn't talk about the Frighteners.
I got to call myself out for that one. I remember
10
that
lashings,
like randomly.
Briggs. Punishment is necessary. Punishment is absolute.
Frighteners would absolutely be one that would make the list if I had remembered to add it. Like, I remembered it randomly once. Why did I put the Frighteners on the list? And then I forgot.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
Stars Michael J. Fox as a real psychic who has his ghost friends conduct phony hauntings in order to make a business for himself. And things get complicated when what seems to be the actual Grim Reaper starts to come after people in town.
Briggs, we've got another one here, and I'm starting to catch on here. People just can't get enough of us, and they're totally manipulating us. They're saving this shit for the end because now Dragon Blue says Young Frankenstein.
Put a candle back. Walk this way.
Yeah, man. Dude, yeah, this was such a fun one, man. Such a fun topic, and there's so many great movies out there, man. I really feel like this one has like brought us together. Not only me and you, even with a little bit of banter back and forth, but man, you know, people chatting it up, dude. The whole horror fam in there, like, don't forget, we even got a Pet Sematary 2 nod.
You guys are the best for for bringing up Pet Sematary as anything other than a complaint about Stephen King not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad you guys dropped by. Thanks, you guys, for watching the chat, for being so active, having so many ideas, and I hope we gave you guys a lot of good recommendations in return.
Oh yeah, man, and now we got people flexing with the Horror Fam officials emojis. I see Jason, Reagan, Michael Myers, man. I mean, it's lighting up in here, dude. I'll tell you what, Briggs is so happy, you know. I don't want to overstep any bounds here, but don't be surprised if he's willing to put a shoe on his head for the entirety of next week's podcast. He is so stoked.
You think I won't do it? You think I won't do it?
Dude, as a matter of fact, Briggs, I would say you're downright yellow.
I'll show you my belly, Steve. There ain't one square inch that's yeller.
Oh my God. This is what happens when you get us together. We watch shit like The Entity and then torture each other after eating 5 pounds of candy. Oh man. But alright, Breezy, man, we have been on here way longer than I expected. I've had a blast, dude, man, and thanks to all of you. They're still lighting it up in the chat, Briggs, but we're gonna have to call it at some point, or we'll be here all night because we love it so much, dude.
I was gonna need like 12 hours of sleep to recover from this one.
I'm gonna be in a horror coma tomorrow. Not horror coma, but horror coma.
Look whore, listen whore, talk whore.
That shit-eating grin all over his face. I love it. Mm-hmm. Alright, man. We'll catch y'all later, dude. Hey, thank you, John, for coming in, baby. Good night, everybody. Tell everybody good night, Breeze. Come on, man. Be a gentleman. Tuck them in.
Night, fam. Let's hope you're comfy.
Yeah. Pull them covers up. Pull the covers up, Briggs. Get them in there. Yeah, there you go. Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness. That's so sweet. All right, everybody. Briggs is officially tucked in and ready for Betty Bye. So, until next time, my friends, look horror, listen horror, talk